The catastrophic collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge, a wake-up call for national bridge safety. The jarring images remain etched in memory. The dramatic collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore, a catastrophic event that claimed the lives of 6 construction workers. The National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, investigation into this tragedy has revealed a chilling truth, a systemic failure that underscores a critical vulnerability in the nation's infrastructure. The report leaves no room for doubt. The collapse was preventable. The NTSB's findings paint a stark picture. The agency determined that the risk of the bridge collapsing after a vessel collision was a staggering 30 times higher than acceptable. This unacceptable level of risk stems directly from a critical oversight: the Maryland Transportation Authority's failure to conduct a crucial structural vulnerability assessment, a recommended safety check that would have undeniably highlighted the bridge's precarious condition. The report bluntly concludes, there was no excuse for this egregious lapse in safety protocols. The sheer magnitude of the failure is further amplified by the devastating consequences. The collision with the Dolly, a container ship en route from Singapore to Sri Lanka, which lost power before impacting a bridge pillar in the early hours of March 26, 2024, triggered a catastrophic chain reaction. The bridge crumbled, sending tons of concrete and steel plunging into the Patapsco River below. The resulting devastation was swift and brutal, leaving an indelible mark on the community and raising profound questions about the safety of bridges nationwide. This is not merely a Baltimore tragedy, it's a national wake-up call. The NTSB investigation has expanded beyond the immediate event, prompting an urgent assessment of 68 bridges across 19 states. This list includes iconic structures that form the backbone of our nation's transportation network, structures that millions rely on daily. The implications are far-reaching and demand immediate action. Among the bridges flagged for urgent inspection are national treasures: the Brooklyn Bridge and the George Washington Bridge in New York City, the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, and the Sunshine Skyway Bridge in Tampa, Florida. The George Washington Bridge, a vital artery connecting Manhattan and New Jersey, carries over 250,000 vehicles daily, underscoring the immense risk associated with potential failures. These are not isolated incidents. They represent a systemic vulnerability demanding immediate and comprehensive attention. The NTSB's call for action isn't just a recommendation, it's a critical imperative. These are bridges carrying not just vehicles, but the lives and livelihoods of millions of Americans. The failure to complete routine safety checks, as seen in the Francis Scott Key Bridge tragedy, highlights a dangerous trend of complacency. Each of the 68 bridges identified carries a potential risk, and the potential consequences of inaction are unthinkable. The failure to address these vulnerabilities is not just negligence, it's a profound betrayal of public trust. The investigation reveals a deeper issue: a gap in oversight and a potential lack of resources dedicated to maintaining aging infrastructure. The Francis Scott Key Bridge tragedy underscores the urgent need for increased funding and improved safety protocols for bridge inspections and maintenance. This is not merely about preventing future collapses, it's about protecting the lives of countless Americans who rely on these crucial arteries of commerce and transportation every single day. The 68 bridges identified represent a significant portion of the nation's critical infrastructure, underscoring the breadth and depth of this issue. The consequences of ignoring this warning are too dire to contemplate. The NTSB's call to action is clear and unambiguous. Immediate and thorough assessments are required to ensure the safety and security of these bridges, protecting not only the infrastructure itself, but the lives of those who depend on it. The silence following the collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge should be replaced with decisive action. We must move beyond finger-pointing and engage in a national conversation about infrastructure maintenance, funding, and regulatory reform. The safety of our bridges should not be a matter of chance, but a guarantee, secured through vigilance, robust oversight, and the unwavering commitment to ensuring the safety of the American public. The time for action is now. The cost of inaction is far too high. The memory of the 6 workers lost on the Francis Scott Key Bridge serves as a stark reminder of the consequences of complacency and the urgent need for comprehensive, immediate action. This is not just about bridges, It's about lives. The Associated Press contributed reporting.